window after signing Ruben Vinagre and James Tarkowski, and Dwight Mcneil looks like he's coming in from Burnley for around 20 million quid. I've seen a lot of Everton fans being negative about this signing. I can understand why. You know, when you've lost a superstar in Richarlison and you're replacing him with a guy who obviously played a lot of minutes, and I think that is a positive, by the way. Dwight Mcneil's never injured, and Everton have a lot of injury-prone players, but looking at a guy and going, he's got one assist and no goals, I get why that's concerning for Everton fans. Although if you look at his XG and his expected assist, obviously XG's in his own hands, and you can look at the fact he should have scored 2 goals and say that's him being a poor finisher, but he should have had just under 5 expected assists. So for me, that suggests poor finishing from Burnley players. It's not his fault if people aren't putting in his crosses. And Dwight Mcneil is a guy that's pretty direct. You know, he's jacked offensively, obviously, but any Burnley player completes a decent amount of dribbles at 2. And look, I'm not saying Dwight Mcneil's as good as Richarlison. Obviously, he's a different type of player, but I think people are comparing Mcneil to Richarlison. I think that's unfair. You know, just because you've lost a key attacker in Richarlison doesn't mean that's the only way to level up. Like, first of all, Everton last season, even when everything went wrong with Everton, if you look at expected points, the Premier League table based on expected points, Wolves are above Southampton, Leicester, Newcastle, Wolves, Burnley, Watford, Norwich. They were 13th. I'm not saying that is the perfect metric, but it shows Everton did deserve to stay up in the end. And I think there is upside in this Everton side. There's not one way to improve Richarlison leaving. You can improve the away record, which, you know, Everton going to a back 3 you'd assume would make them more solid away from home. It can't be as bad as it was last year. Just improving the defence with James Tarkowski and Vinagre and getting a more solid defensive base under Lampard of pre-season, that will help. Dominic Calvert-Lewin being back to put in crosses for Mcneil, by the way. And obviously injuries. Everton were screwed over with injuries last season, and people ignored it in the media because it was fun to make a narrative out of Everton. But, you know, I think Mcneil, Ali, Gordon and Calvert-Lewin's fine, assuming they don't get injured. And look, Dwight Mcneil's young, he's homegrown, he has resale value. He's a very good crosser, he's pretty direct. And look, when you look at all his attacking metrics being in low percentiles, that's just the case for every attacker that ever has played for Burnley in the history of that club ever. Even Cornet's aren't particularly jacked, and a lot of his goal, he overperformed his expected goals quite a lot. I get why Everton fans aren't happy about this, and I can kind of understand why, but this is Everton being more sensible. You know, even if Dwight Mcneil's bad, they'll probably get £10 million back for him. And he's young, he's got good resale value. I can see a world where Everton just have to get to Bramley-Moore Dock. I was saying this when I was speaking about Ruben Vinagre being a solid backup player for them. Everton just have to survive the next couple of years under Lampard, be a solid, boring 12th to 14th place club, and then get to Bramley-Moore Dock, get into the new stadium and kind of start building. Hopefully the FFP situation sort out then and the new owners are in or whatever. Dwight Mcneil will do that. He won't replace Richarlison's output, but he's a good crosser. Everton look like they're going to become a bit more of a physical side with Tarkowski and Calvert-Lewin coming in. And I think people are hyper-focusing way too much on Richarlison. Will he replace Richarlison? No. But will Vinagre providing cover and not having to make Ben Godfrey out of position, will that help? Yes. Will Tarkowski be an improvement on Michael Keane? Yes. Will playing a back 3 be an improvement on the 4-3-3 last season? Yes. Does it suit Everton's personnel? In my opinion, that back 3 does more. And assuming they don't get the injuries they did last season, which is very unlikely because Everton got screwed over, especially to Calvert-Lewin, I think Everton will be fine. Is Dwight Mcneil a sexy signing? No. I can understand why Everton fans are annoyed about it, but I wouldn't panic about it too much. It's a decent deal. It's not a ridiculous fee. This is a guy that the season before, by the way, got 2 goals, 5 assists, when Burnley were obviously a lot more competent. His underlying numbers are actually worse in some metrics like dribbles and defence fee and stuff. So I think there's enough there with Dwight Mcneil to suggest he's an okay signing. I get the concern with the lack of goals, but that will come from Dominic Calvert-Lewin. You'd like to think that will come from Anthony Gordon with a second season. You'd like to think that will come from Ali. And Everton just being a bit more of a solid unit away from home. This isn't a great signing, but I think it's a fine signing. And I think these sort of signings will fill out that squad, help with injuries if they do happen again. And Dwight Mcneil's just a 7 out of 10 okay Premier League player every week. I think he's fine. If I was an Everton fan, I'd be pretty happy with this. Assuming their goal is just to stay up and kind of become a solid mid-table side for the next few years, I think this is a perfectly fine signing. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel, like the video, check out the Vinagre video. And yeah, peace.